boy, I tell you, the struggle becomes realer and realer. But how is everybody doing? Rowan, what's up? How you doing? I come in peace, gentle people. I come in peace. Okay. All right. Please don't start with the mess tonight. I'm not into it. Please, whatever it is you do, whatever you come with tonight, make sure it's something peaceful. All right. Good evening, everybody. Welcome into the evening live. Welcome. Happy Sunday evening to you all. We are going to be continuing with this politics. You all know that me and politics not friend. I usually don't pay too much attention to politics, as you would all know by now. But what are the odds that here I am on the internet with the two most controversial topics that anyone could think of. And here I am. I'm really walking on chalk line, right, guys? I'm really asking for you to come after me. Am I not? OMG. But regardless, I'm going to be here. Let no one silence your voice. You have a voice, use it. I have thoughts that go around in my head all the time. And I just think that it is only fair that I exercise my right to have a voice and to use it. Okay? So today we're gonna take a little look. We gotta talk a little bit because this political season, it's ripe with ideas. It's ripe with new thoughts. It is a seasoned time for us to take a step back and examine all that's going on around us and add our voices to the others that's out there. Yes, we have to throw in our 2 cents, and this 2 cents is going to be our voice and our vote. All right. So everybody's talking about this Project 25, and honestly, I have no clue about this Project 25, but it seems to be the go-to in the defense of going over to the Democrats. People are saying that Project 25 is the mandate that is going to be used if the Republicans get into power. It's the mandate they're going to use to reform laws and how these laws are going to affect us adversely. And so I've decided, Zenyatta, how are you doing? Good afternoon to you. Okay, we are talking about this Project 25 that's being hurled left and right as it relates to politics, American politics. I know there are lots of people here who don't have a dog in the fight, but they have an opinion, and that's okay. But I would rather have a conversation with people who really have a dog in the fight, because it's going to affect you more than it will affect somebody who does not have a dog in the fight. Okay? Kenyatta, so if you are aware, it is a political season in America. We have an election coming up in just about 100 days, and people are talking about the odds of who is going to be the winner and who their choices are, and what are the negative implications of choosing one party over the other. And so we are having this conversation about a particular topic that is being used as a talking point by one party against the other. And this is this Project 25 thing. All right. So, so that's what the conversation tonight is about. So come on in, guys. Come on in. I have downloaded this Project 25 on my phone, and we can't go over it all at once, but we will try to go over some parts of it as best we can, and see what's in it and see what the implications are for us. If you are in the chat and you don't mind coming up and let's talk, please, guys, civil conversation, please. All right. I know there are people out there who get their britches in a bundle because of politics. But remember, when it's all said and done, and all this politics is over, you gonna need your neighbor. Okay, so don't let, because of politics, you harm your neighbor who you're going to need tomorrow, while the people who are leading these political parties will be on their way um with their security detail. They will be just fine. Okay, they have maids and servants to get them a cup of tea, and you are over there in your house dying for a cup of tea. You can't call your neighbor because you just insulted your neighbor, made an enemy out of your neighbor, all over politics. All right. so so let's keep it civil. All right, lovely people. So if you are here and you don't mind, you are all welcome. Everybody is welcome, whether you are for or against. All right, you are all welcome. So I have the download here of this Project 25 on my phone, and it is. I'm gonna read for you. I'm gonna read for you what this Project 25. Let me see what their. Hold on, guys, and it is fine, because it is. Oh shoot, I keep on forgetting that I can open my phone and see the thing bigger. I keep forgetting. You know, when you're not used to. You never hear about never see can't see. All right, let us read this here. This is a note on Project 2025. It says, we want you. The 2025 Presidential Transition Project is the conservative movement's unified effort to be ready for the next conservative administration to govern at 12 noon, January 20, 2025. Welcome to the mission. By opening this book, you are now a part of it. Indeed, one set of eyes reading these passages will be those of the 47th President of the United States, and we hope every other reader will join in making the incoming administration a success. History teaches that a president's power to implement an agenda is at its apex during the administration's opening days. To execute requires a well-conceived, coordinated, unified plan and a trained and committed cadre of personnel to implement it. In recent election cycles, presidential candidates normally began transition planning in the late spring of election year, or even after the party's nomination was secured. That is too late. The federal government's complexity and growth advance at a seemingly logarithmic rate every 4 years. For conservatives to have a fighting chance to take on the administrative state and reform our federal government, the work must start now. The entirety of this effort is to support the next conservative president, whoever he or she may be. In the winter of 1980, the Pledging Heritage Foundation handed to President-elect Ronald Reagan the inaugural mandate for leadership. This collective work by conservative thought thought leaders and former government hands, most of whom were not part of heritage, set out policy prescriptions, agency by agency, for the incoming president. The book literally put the conservative movement and Reagan on the same page, and the revolution that followed might never have been, save for this band of committed and volunteer activists. With this volume, we have gone back to the future. And then some. I also thank, somebody says, I also think, you know, so I need my glasses. I refuse to wear it. I also think the Democratic Party and Republican Party are quite similar. Both Biden and Trump opted for protectionism, the weakening of the dollar, maintaining public spending, etc. Kimisha! Oh my gosh! I ain't seen you in such a long time, Kimisha. How are you doing? Melanie says, I don't concern myself with Project 25. Check out Project 2030. Trump has Agenda 47. Oh really? I don't know, my love. Melanie, I am reading. We are growing and learning every day, and we are reading what is being presented to us so that we can make sense out of nonsense. If you are Jamaican, you know what I mean. Right, Kamisha? How are you doing? I ain't seen you in a hot minute. How have you been, my love? I'm always happy to see you. All right? Let us move. Melanie says Trump has distanced himself from Project 2025. I think he's trying to, but the cat is already out of the bag. Okay? No, Kenyatta. Who would have muted you? No. You are not muted, my love. Kamisha said I have to take time out for myself. Of course, yes. Of course, yes. We got to take time out for ourselves. Now you're back 100%. Welcome, my love. I thank you so much for coming. I sincerely appreciate you. All right. We are going to continue with the reading. Melanie says Trump has distanced himself from 2025. I don't know how much so he has distanced himself from 2025. He's, in my opinion, trying to distance himself from Project 2025, but that is, I believe, just to pull a veil over the eyes of those who will. Okay, let us continue. It's Mandate for Leadership, the Conservative Promise. It's not 1980. Hunter says, hey mama, where are we going tomorrow? I don't know. I don't even know if I'll wake up tomorrow, my love. It's not 1980. In 2023, the game has changed. The long march of cultural Marxism through our institutions has come to pass. The federal government is a behemoth weaponized against American citizens and conservative values, with freedom and liberty under siege as never before. Let me stop there. So, who feels as though their liberty and freedom is at stake? Let me see. Those of you in the chat, let me see who feels as though with this current administration, your freedom and your liberty are... not that. Come on, people. Tell me. Tell me. Who is this? Deep Thoughts? How are you doing, Deep Thoughts? What do you say? Prove it? Prove what? Prove Trump created this. Ain't nobody here to prove anything about who created what? Who you fussing with now? Don't fuss. We ain't fussing. Okay. Somebody says, how did I get here? I don't know how you got here, honey, but I know how you can leave. Yeah. So let us continue. Those of you who think that your freedom, your liberty is at stake right now, talk to me. Who you talking about is spreading lies with all the regulations. Fine. Okay, Melanie says, deep thoughts. Listen, you are not thinking deeply at all. You are just thinking out of anger. And we are not doing that. Okay? We are not doing that. Because nobody here has said anybody's name. No, we're not doing that. So quit while you are ahead, I suggest. All right. Melanie says she feels as though her liberties and freedoms are at stake with the regulations, fines, and fees. So you think that the regulations, the fines, and the fees are too much, or you don't want any regulation, fines, or fees? You don't want to pay any of those. Is that what I'm hearing? You don't want any regulations, you don't want any fines, you don't want to pay any fees. Things may be about to change with the conclusion of the Brunson case. Where my phone this on? With the conclusion of the Brunson case. Remember, I tell you, I don't do politics, so I don't know these things. What is the Brunson case, Melanie? Hold on. Google is everybody's best friend. What is this Brunson case you're talking about? Is that the word you wanted to put? Brunson case 2024. Things may be about to change with this Brunson case. I don't know anything about this Brunson's case. You mean Brunson versus Sotomayor? Is that the case you're talking about? I gotta mark it here so I can read it, so I can go read it. But I can't comment on it now because I don't know anything about it, and I don't know how it relates to what we are talking about. Yes, I saw it, Melanie. I saw it. But I don't know anything about it. I have not perused this document, so there is no way I can say anything about it. I'm willing to listen though. If you're willing to say, to tell us how you feel, I'm willing to listen. But honestly, I don't know anything about it. Until I have read it, I won't know. And I have not read it. Okay? So let us continue. Thank you so much for your contribution, Melanie. Melanie says she feels that she don't like to pay fees and all that stuff. Well, you can't have a government run without fees, without people paying fees and regulations and fines. I mean, sometimes they can be overbearing, and also considering that the economy and individuals' own financial circumstance may not allow them to be able to cushion the blow of these fees when they come about. So I do understand. Hoover Blair is here. Okay, you want to be released from unconstitutional regulations, fees, and fines. Tell me some of those regulations, fees, and fines that you're talking about, because I may be subjected to them and not even know. So tell me, what are these regulations, fees, and fines you are talking about? Kamisha says, I think freedom starts within us, within you. Okay. They're unconstitutional. Yes, you keep leaving me these vague, blank responses that I can't respond to. I'm asking you, what fees and fines and regulations are you talking about? Because I'm sure there are people in the audience who may be subjected, even myself, may be subjected to these regulations, fees, and fines to which you object. But we don't know. We don't know that these fees, fines, and stuff are unconstitutional. Now you say they are unconstitutional and we have the right to decline them constitutionally. Which ones? Which ones? Because I want to know. Empress! Empress, how are you doing? Okay, now she says DMV for one. As a free person, we don't have to pay registration to drive a vehicle. We don't have to, or you don't think we should have to? Is that what we are saying? We don't have to pay to drive a vehicle, or we shouldn't have to pay to drive a vehicle? Talk to me. Because almost everybody in the chat drives a vehicle. I'm going to say that almost everybody in the chat drives a vehicle, and we all have to pay registration each year. We have to get car inspection. We have to pay when we go to pay registration. Have you ever gone down the list of those fees? There are fees for just about everything. And to think also that it's like you are paying these taxes on this vehicle, and you are paying these taxes on your house, and you are going to the grocery store and you are paying taxes. You go to the store to buy something, you pay taxes. We do pay a lot of taxes, but hey, which administration is going to absolve us of taxes? Which one? Because if that is the biggest problem that we face, that we pay too much money in all these regulations and fees and taxes, then we have to be looking forward to a government that is going to absolve us of all that, so we're not going to have to pay anything anymore. So we go and work and enjoy our money and go to Cancun and go everywhere. Is that what I'm hearing though? Okay. So Melanie says we have the right to not pay. So when we don't pay it, what statutes are we violating? Huh? When we don't pay it, all right, you got a car and you don't want to pay the registration for this car as the state mandates that you pay. What's going to happen? What are the implications of that? You're going to drive this car down the street, the police going to stop you, the police going to say this car is unregistered, and boom. Which country can operate without taxing its citizens? Which country? There's no country or no type of government that can function without taxing its citizens. So for me, taxing is not my greatest worry. That's just for me. Danielle, what's up? Danielle says, taxes will never go away. They have been around for thousands of years. Jesus said, give to Caesar what is Caesar's. That was the Caesar's taxes. Even religion have done it. Catholic priests used to tell people you could pay for your sins to go away. And we know that ain't true, right? In the US, they'll send you to jail for tax evasion if it's above a certain amount of unpaid taxes, even though the IRS is technically illegal. Huh? The IRS is technically illegal. Oh Lord. I didn't know that, Daniel. I didn't know that. Empress says, without structure in a country, we have chaos. We don't have to pay. We work for free. Yes, you work for free, you don't have to pay. But the thing is, if you have a car, you are mandated to register that car. And one thing that I don't like though, I don't like the fact that you have to register this car every year. I think registering this car one time should be enough. But I guess that's not going to bring in enough money. So every year you got to go back and re-register this car. But hey, it is the law of the land. What are we going to do? We need to drive our cars, we need to register the car. Isn't it nice as CNN finally fact checked the left is lunatics that came 2025 was Trump's. Anyway, we're going to blow past that. Paying 120 for additional taxes for tires when paying registration. Melanie, I really understand your pain because I feel the same pain. When I got to register my cars, when I got to, I understand. You got to do it every year, and then they turn around. Some states send you to go do inspection on the car. You got to pay another inspection on the car. And when you go to register your car, and you see the list of stuff that you got to pay for, you are like, what? I got to pay all of this? But what would you want to do to eliminate it? Because no government can just come in and tell the state, okay, then you are no longer going to charge your citizens to register their cars. Because the states need money. They need money. They need money to fix the roads, to keep the roads upkeep for the roads. They need money to build new roads. They need money for so many things, for all the other social services that we enjoy. So I don't think that would ever go away. A lot of those agencies that have been created are unconstitutional. Social Security is illegal. Social Security is illegal? Hold on there. Danielle says yes. Car registration fees, property taxes, sale taxes. I tell you, Danielle, there are taxes everywhere. When I sit down and I calculate all the taxes that I paid, and then they say you make this much each year, and you look at it, how much do you get to spend? You really don't get much to spend for yourself, because every single thing you purchase, you have to pay taxes on it. You have to pay taxes on your home. You have to pay taxes on your car. You have to pay insurance on your home. You have to pay insurance on your car. They want you to insure even the two pieces of old furniture you have in the house. They want you to pay to pay insurance on. So insurance and taxes and all. It really does a number on our pockets. And if you are making $250,000 a year, and I am only making 1/5 of that, but yet we gotta pay the same taxes. We go to the store, we go to the grocery store, we go to the clothing store, we go to the furniture store. We have the same, maybe not the same car, but we have to pay car registration, insurance, and all these taxes and everything. You can see how the person who is making this $250,000 a year might be able to survive. A person who is making 1/5 of that might have problems. There is going to be a lot of struggle. I don't want the chat to go away from me. Renata, how are you doing? Hold on a second, guys. Let me see what my friend Daniel here is saying. A certain amount of taxes are needed for public initiatives, but many times politicians. You know, Daniel, you are right. You are right, because I think that we can get cut some slack, don't you think? Yeah, we can get cut some slack, man. We do pay a lot, but it is what it is. It's not going to go away, regardless of the administration that is in power. It's not going to go away. Hunter say, what's for dinner? Hunter, you see me here, it's dinner time, and you see where I'm at? That means I ain't cooking. And I ain't got nobody to bang the kitchen counter and say, where is my dinner? You ever hear about liberty and freedom? Oh, Lord. Daniel says, Social Security is not illegal. I wouldn't think so. But somebody over here on the top said Social Security is illegal, and I wouldn't think so. There are people that would like it to be because they feel, why should I have to pay for someone disabled or elderly that can't work? It's not my job. And the thing is, what people don't understand is that we are supposed to care for each other. One thing that's lacking in our society, and that is caring. Caring is on the back burner in our society. We have our young men out there, them not the little old lady, little old man, steal his car, steal his little wallet, knock him off his cane. They don't care. They don't care. Okay? People want to say, I should not have to pay into Social Security because I don't want to have to pay for somebody who is disabled. Do you realize that those people did not go to the store to purchase disability? Do you realize that people did not go to the store to purchase old age? We're all getting there one day at a time. Okay? Well, paying $120 for additional taxes and tire when paying registration. I know it's hard. Let me see here. I'm looking. A lot of those agencies that have been created are, okay, I read that already. How did I reach back here? Why are you saying? Please don't say what your host did not say, please. Okay? All right. Do not say what your host did not say. All right? Let us continue. I have started here and I did not call anybody's name. Okay? The one thing you're going to not do is come up in my live and tell a lie on me the moment you come in. You don't say hello. You walk up in my chat, you don't even say hello, but you come in to tell a lie. Don't do that. Don't do that. Okay? I never called anybody's name. Okay? Melanie says, I don't know. The garbage people will put in their bodies. What does that mean, Melanie? What do you mean? The garbage people will put in their bodies. Because I'm not sure how we got there to something people putting in their bodies. We the best. What's up? How are you doing? Daniel says, yes, a lot of people lack empathy and compassion. That is true. He says, Jesus said, look out for your fellow man, not be bitter about helping them. You shouldn't be bitter about helping others. And I find it appalling that people would think that by paying into Social Security, which is used to take care of the indigent and the disabled, that they would not want to be a part of that. That they would not want to help the helpless. Why would you not want to contribute? Because number one, as an individual, you may not even know that your next door neighbor has a disabled child. You may not even know. And that neighbor needs help with that child because of that child's disability. And you mean to tell me that as a human being, with blood running through your veins, you would want to say, hell no, I don't want to pay in a system that is going to help that mother with that disabled child. How cold and how callous can you be? Woo! Good God. But think about it. If you were in that position, would you want society to help you out? You see, we only think about ourselves, you know. And we think about ourselves when we are all able and we feel good about ourselves. And we don't understand that the same vulnerability that causes your neighbor to become disabled, you face that same vulnerability. You could be driving down the road, following all the road codes, and the next thing you know, some lunatic comes by, crashes into you, and the next thing you know, you need that Social Security help. But while you are up and running, you don't think you need to pay it for somebody else to benefit. Woo! Good God. Good God. Mm-mm. All right. Misha says she have a business and she get a tax break. All right. All right. Um, Daniel says they think everyone that gets assistance is abusing the system, and it stigmatizes everyone, including those who legitimately need the assistance. Well, that is a point, but how are you going to determine who? I, as an individual, can't determine who needs Social Security and who deserves it and who don't. That is for the agency. So when people go in and fill their application, the agency determine whether or not they're eligible. Okay? But I can't sit back. I wouldn't feel comfortable within myself knowing that I am in a place where the elderly is not cared for, the sick, the injured, the indigent, the disabled, the mentally ill are not cared for in any way. I know we have problems in those areas. I know we have problems. But if your only drawback is that you don't want your Social Security, you don't want Social Security to be taken out of your pay to pay for anybody else, I find that to be quite inhumane. If that be the case, would you prefer, was somebody trying to come up? I missed it. Would you prefer then for the government to say, okay, those of you who don't want to pay into Social Security, come over here. And those of you who don't mind paying into Social Security, come over here. The only thing though, the ones over here got to remember is that you get your money. If you fall ill and you can no longer work, you are on your own. I'm sure a lot of people wouldn't like that, right? We spend more on our defense budget than anything. Well, that is true. That is true. They spend a lot on the defense budget. Someone says my ex drank and did drugs for most of his adult life and is now on disability. Should we have to pay? Yes. I mean, you don't want your ex to benefit from you paying Social Security because you think that he drank himself into sickness and used drugs that caused him to be ill. But even so, sometimes we ourselves will think that we are so healthy and we are making the healthiest choices. We could probably not be making the healthiest choices. There are lots of people I know who never drank, never smoked, but they ended up with cancer. So should you say then that, oh well, too bad for them? If they get cancer, they're disabled. That's not my problem. Is that what we should say? No. So whether it is your ex and it's obvious that you have some real, I don't know, even hatred for that ex. Good Lord. That's Daniel. Daniel says that's another big problem. Funding being cut from mental health care programs and institutions designed to help them. That's why there are so many homeless on the street with psychological problems. That too is an issue. And that I would love to see addressed because we have too many people. Too many people. And you know a lot of those people are veterans too. That's out there on the street, homeless. Okay? There, Melanie, would you have him homeless on the street? Melanie says there's a difference between getting a sickness through no fault of your own or causing it. But you know, Melanie, that sometimes even the foods that we eat, that they spray with pesticides, you know, we are eating these foods and they could be causing us to have cancerous tumors. But we don't know. We think we are eating the best food. We think that we are maintaining our health. If somebody smokes and through smoking they develop cancer, are you saying that because the cancer developed through their smoking that we should just abandon them, just turn our back on them and said, you laid that bed so you got to lie in it? I wouldn't want to see that kind of suffering. Okay, actually, he gets disability, housing paid for, medical paid for, food stamps. Yes, that's what the people in society who are indigent who need our help. That's what they get. And I know that there are some people who abuse the system. There are people who are fully well capable of working, capable of going to work, hearty, strong people who are capable of going to work, but they refuse to go to work because you see they can go down and they can go down to the social security office, they can get social security, and so people are comfortable with that. Then there are the others of us who are not comfortable and would never be comfortable sitting down and getting a handout. You know. Oh, Melanie says yes, because, okay, so she says yes, because we have consequences for the things we do. Oh boy. You got a point. You got a point. That sounds a point like a point coming straight out of Moses' law. But anywho, we're gonna continue. Misha says, so true, because I have a sickness, 9 different sickness, and if I didn't work for the government, I would have been homeless. You see? You see? So some of us are lucky like that. I don't think it is luck. Some of us end up falling on that side of things, while others are on the other side. Marlon, what's up? Marlon, Marlon, how you doing? Good evening. What's up? You know what trouble me? Marlon, now let me tell you what trouble me today, Sunday, okay? But how you doing? Happy Sunday evening to you, my love. All right, make us continue. Make us continue. Make us continue talking about this. If you are just coming into the live, we are actually taking a read of this Project 25. We can't read Project 2025. We can't read it all in one day for sure, but today and every day from now on, we are going to read as much as we can and talk about it, you know, because I want to see how this Project 2025 affects my life. All right, and I'm sure you all want to hear it too, but I know a lot of you all won't read it. You will just parrot what somebody else says, and you all know me by now. I don't like to parrot what other people say. I like to get into the nitty gritty of it, to read it for myself. All right, and I like to share that with you. Somebody says Kamala Harris family over 100 direct. What that mean? What that mean? Somebody says Project 2025 doesn't affect your life. Could you just excuse? Melanie says, or grow your own. Okay, Melanie has a suggestion there. She says, or grow your own food. We can control what we put in our bodies, plus using herbs and spices and seeds. You got a great point there, Melanie. You got a great point. But how much herbs and spices and seeds are we gonna use? We are you know, and a lot of people don't have land to grow their own food. Some people are not in prime areas where the climate is good for growing their own food. So there are lots of obstacles that people face, even if they decide that they're going to grow their own food. Okay, I tried growing food in my backyard. I got like a little bit less than an acre, a little bit. And I try growing food in my backyard, but I still go to the grocery store and buy food. You know, some of the food don't come, caterpillar eat them. You got the challenges, the challenges, the challenges. You know, but you try. There are others who live in apartments who don't have the resources to grow their own foods. You can't tell them you can't eat if you can't grow your own food. Um, Teacher says they are afraid because Babylon is falling. They who, Tito, they who are afraid, you should be reading out of some of Pickle's policies. Coco, take a break. You're not gonna tell me I should or shouldn't read. I think it's time you go take a book. All right. What's up? Paul, what's up? How you doing? I never see you this morning. I never see you Bible reading this morning. Hey, Paul, I remember seeing you Bible reading this morning. I remember seeing you, my brother. And this morning was fire. Listen to me. This morning, my mouth fell to the floor, and I just picked it up just now to come on the live. Believe me. Misha said, in summertime, I grow my... Watch out. The phone. I realized that the phone are dead. How the phone dead so fast? Let me see what's going on here. In summertime, I grow my plant and sell it and give them away. Oh, you get to grow a lot. Andrea, what's up? What's going on with you, my love? People fear what they don't understand, but a lot of the times they don't spend the time to try to understand what is causing them to be so afraid. Okay? I use quite a bit of spices for a variety of health issues. Buy from your co-ops everywhere. Okay. I don't take any meds, any spices, only spices, herbs. God gave us everything we need. Yes, I agree with you. Thank God I am not sick. Thank God I am not sick. I don't take any medications. You know, I use quite a bit of herbs and seeds and spices and stuff like that. I don't do a lot of commercial stuff and processed foods and stuff like that. I don't drink. I don't smoke at all. So I think I'm fairly healthy. But we're getting older. We're not going to be like this forever. Sometimes something creeps upon you, you don't even know it. You know, I think it is time you wake up and stop spreading misinformation, as y'all call it. Come on for my life. Do me a favor and come on for my life. True. Me don't know when church I keep again. Listen to me now, Paul. You need to know when church I keep. You need to know when Bible reading keeping so you can rope in. Alright? Alright. Let us continue. Andrea says, self-reliance is great, but on what scale? It all depends on geographical structures and locations. Exactly. It all depends on all those things, because a lot of people do not have anywhere to grow their own food, and as much as they would have liked to grow their own food, they have nowhere to grow it. You know, so they depend on the supermarket. How healthy is the food you're getting from the supermarket? We ourselves don't even know. The food coming from the supermarket is sprayed with pesticides. It's unhealthy. We wash it in baking soda and vinegar and all these good things, and yet we still worry. Okay, we still worry about it. Some people say we just pray and eat it because we don't know what is in it. So if so be the case, so be the case. What is to be must be. Que sera, sera. You know, but God gave the doctors the information to make medicine for people. Yes, the doctors get the knowledge to make medications, and medications have been proven to work. Medications have been proven to help people with various ailments. Okay, nobody's saying they don't, but for those of us who are aging, well, we're all aging, but those of us who have already lived more than half our lives, and we are healthy and not on any medications, we have a lot to give thanks for. Whatever you all be doing, you all need to keep doing it. Okay? But there are some people There are some people who are my age, in their 50s, who are already on dialysis, already diagnosed with cancer and treatments, who are already quite ill, high blood pressure, erectile dysfunction, you name it. You name it. That is something that nobody goes to the shop to buy. Sickness is not something that somebody purchases. Sickness can take you when you least expect it. Some people get sick, end up getting bedridden, not because of anything that they did to themselves. People get accidents. People pick up viruses. There are so many ways that people can become ill. So I could never find myself in a place where I say, if I find guys, you all listen to me almost every day. If you hear me say one day, I am so uppity that I find myself in this grand place where I don't care about the needy, the hungry, the thirsty, the sick, because in my mind, they did it to themselves. Please, 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 people, please, wanna do something to me. Because there is no way I could find that mental alacrity to come up with something like that, to say, I don't want to pay into Social Security because I don't want them to have to use it to pay for people who have drunk themselves to sickness, who have smoked themselves to cancer, who have eaten processed foods that has caused them to be sick. No, I couldn't. But that is just me. You have to advocate for yourself when you are seeing the doctor. Okay, that was skip. Hold on, let me see. All right, Melanie says, it's always great to pray over your food, but God said his people perish for lack of knowledge. Okay. Learn about your food. A lot of it is bioengineered or genetically modified. Yes, we are aware of that. We are aware of that. And as much as a lot of us would love to grow our own food, there is a problem. The seeds we buy, a lot of them are modified somewhat, and we plant them and they grow and we eat the food. We are not going to be able to escape it. Okay? You see we have different colors of carrots, different colors of watermelon, different colors of all these foods that they are experimenting with. And then we are consuming it. What do you want us to do? We can't afford to die of hunger. The wheat that makes the bread and the flour and all. Yeah. The water we're drinking, we don't know what they put in it. You buy bottled water, you don't know what they put in it. All of it. Every single aspect of our lives is questionable at this point. But what are we supposed to do? We still got to care for each other. Melanie says, you're on the internet, look up how to grow stuff. Okay. So we got to look up how to grow stuff. But that wouldn't stop them from engineering the stuff. Even the seeds you buy at the store. Because I buy seeds at the store. And trust me, I don't think those seeds are pure seeds. I don't think so. But what am I supposed to do? I'm going to buy them anyway. And I'm going to plant them anyway. I'm going to eat what they produce anyway. Beans and okra and strawberries and watermelons and potatoes and you name it. I'm going to eat it anyway, because what am I supposed to do? Die of hunger? Yes, I do. There is fluoride in the water. and your toothpaste. It calcifies your pineal gland. That I have heard of before as well. But there are, remember, not everybody ends up with a calcified pineal gland. I have a garden. Everyone does not have what I have. Um, okay. Let us move right along. Can we continue reading? All right, let us continue reading. Let's continue reading this book here. All right, to call it a book, but anyway, let us continue. Oops, where am I? Okay. Project 2025 is more than 50 and growing. That's in parentheses. That's and growing of the nation's leading conservative organizations joining forces to prepare and seize the day. The axiom goes, personnel is policy, and we need a new generation of Americans to answer the call and come to serve. This book is functionally an invitation for you, the reader, Mr. Smith, Mistress Smith, and Miss Smith, to come to Washington to support those who can. Our goal is to assemble an army of aligned, vetted, trained, and prepared conservatives to go to work on day one to deconstruct the administrative state. The project is built on 4 pillars. Today we're going to look at pillar, not pillow, not pillow, pillar. Pillar 1. We're going to look at pillar 1. Barry, what's up? How you doing? Good to see you. Good to see you, Barry. Bless up yourself. Let us see what pillar 1 is. So this project 2025 is built on these 4 pillars, and we are going to take a look at this pillar 1. Why I can't open it? It says this volume puts in one place a consensus view of how major federal agencies must be governed, and where disagreement exists, brackets out these differences for the next president to choose a path. All right, let me look for who that just calling me. I can't answer a call right now. I'm looking for pillar 1. Let's look here for pillar 1. Right here, they're giving a little narrative about all the contributors to this project. So I'm scrolling because you know I downloaded this whole thing. I guess this is the first part of it. I guess this is pillar 1. Or is this a, well, it didn't say it was a, oh, this is a foreword. All right, y'all want to hear the foreword of it? Do y'all want to hear the foreword? All right, let's read the foreword. The foreword is A Promise to America by Dr. Kevin Roberts. All right, 44 years ago, the United States and the conservative movement were in dire straits. Both had been betrayed by the Washington establishment and were uncertain whom to trust. Both were internally splintered and strategically adrift. Worse still, at that moment of acute vulnerability and division, we found ourselves besieged by existential adversaries, foreign and domestic. The late 1970s were by any measure a historic low point for America and the political coalition dedicated to preserving its unique legacy of human flourishing and freedom. Today, America and the conservative movement are enduring an era of division and danger akin to the late 1970s. Now, as then, our political class has been discredited by wholesale dishonesty and corruption. Look at America under the ruling and cultural elite today. Inflation is ravaging family budgets. Drug overdose deaths continue to escalate, and children suffer the toxic normalization of transgenderism, with drag queens and pornography invading their social libraries. Overseas, a totalitarian communist dictatorship in Beijing is engaged in a strategic, cultural, and economical Cold War against America's interests, values, and people, all while globalist elites in Washington awaken only slowly to that growing threat. Moreover, low-income communities are drowning in addiction and government dependence. Contemporary elites have even repurposed the worst ingredients of 1970s radical chic to build the totalitarian cult known today as the Great Awakening. And now, as then, the Republican Party seems to have little understanding about what to do. Most alarming of all, the very moral foundations of our society are in peril. Question. Hold on, let me mark this. Question. Does anybody here feel as though morality is under attack in America today? Anybody here? What are your thoughts on what I just read? Because this is the foreword for the 2020 project. They write them things while they grieve young ones. Yes, sister. But talk to me, guys. Does anybody here feel as though morality is under attack in our country? How do you feel about the current state of morality? I'll go first. I'll tell you. Morality is at an all-time low. There is no argument to defend that. That is true. But tell me, how is it the government's responsibility to hold you account for how you choose to live your life? Talk to me, people. Talk to me. How do you feel when it comes on to morality? What do you feel is happening? What do you see around you? Empress says morality is a personal choice, and morality too is subjective, because what could be considered immoral for me could be solely moral for you. Where is the measuring stick? I mean, we're not going to say the Bible is the measuring stick. I know y'all are going to tell me that the Bible is the measuring stick. But if you tell me the Bible is the measuring stick, you're going to have to tell me what you're measuring. All right? But Melanie says, no. There is common sense law. Okay, talk to me, Melanie. There is common sense law. What is common sense law? Talk to me. What do you consider to be common sense law? Can you tell me? what do you consider to be common sense law? Because here I am saying that there is no way the government can oversee everybody's morality. The government has to put out one law by which everybody goes, everybody obeys that law. But if you have any other beliefs that you want to abide by, then you go right ahead. But the government cannot put out laws that are supposed to discriminate against any section of society. Do you think? Do you think they should? Talk to me. Only gone quiet, so. Only gone so quiet all on a sudden. Why only gone so quiet? Yeah, only talk to me. Talk to me. Because here it is being quite specific and talking about some kind of totalitarian cult known today as the Great Awakening. And it's also referencing transgenderism and all of that as great perils to the nation. Is that how y'all feel? You can't legislate morality. It is too subjective to legislate. I agree. But as a society, the majority practice common sense law. And I'm asking you again, what is common sense law? Talk to me. Because for those of you who have been here on my channel, as we have been reading the Bible and going through the Bible, you all noticed that prior to, now according to the Bible, you all noticed that prior to Noah's flood, there wasn't any law. Did you see any law that said the people shouldn't do X, shouldn't do Y? There wasn't any prior to Noah. The people were doing what they feel was right and not doing what they feel was wrong. But you can tell when something is wrong, because how did Cain know it was wrong to kill his brother? I didn't see anywhere in the Bible where it said at that point, thou shalt not kill. But at the same time, Cain was punished for slaying his brother. I didn't see any laws that said you shouldn't be envious or jealous. But Cain was envious and angry and jealous when his brother's gift was accepted by God and his wasn't. So are these emotions that are innate? They just surface without any teaching, without any external influence? Talk to me. So you please tell me what you call this common sense law, and who is supposed to implement this common sense law, and who is supposed to police it. King Bolan, how are you doing? Happy Sunday to you. Welcome into the live. Common sense law. Cain is an example. He knew not to kill. Okay, but he did anyway. And for that, he got the punishment. You say the thing is glitching. I'm not sure what is happening. Why would it be glitching? I don't know. It's maybe just acting up. I'm not sure. All right, but let us continue. Uber, how are you doing? Good to see you. Happy Sunday to you. All right, we're going to continue reading, guys. For those of you who are just coming, wondering what in the world we are doing here, we are trying to go over this Project 25 that seems to be causing an upstir where everybody is saying, oh, be afraid of Project 25, Project 25. And I'm nosy and I want to know what it is. Before I start opening up my big mouth and talking about Project 25, I got to know what I'm talking about. So here I am reading it. Yeah, I downloaded it on a phone and I'm reading it so you don't have to. All right, let us read some more. Yet students of history will note that, notwithstanding all those challenges, the late 1970s proved to be the moment when the political right unified itself and the country and led the United States to historic political, economic, and global victories. The Heritage Foundation is proud to have played a small but pivotal role in that story. It was in early 1979, amid stagflation, gas lines, and the Red Army's invasion of Afghanistan, the nadir of Jimmy Carter's days of malaise, that Heritage launched the mandate for Leadership Project. We brought together hundreds of conservative scholars and academics across the conservative movement. Together, this team created a 20-volume, 3,000-page governing handbook containing more than 2,000 conservative policies to reform the federal government and rescue the American people from Washington dysfunction. It was a promise from the conservative movement to the country, confident, specific, and clear. Yeah, me don't know what them I do to me live. After me not trouble the people them, why them I mess up my life? Oh Lord. Oh Lord have his mercy. You can't just love me live this life, the little bit of life I have left in peace. Why don't keep on about me? I'm in trouble no. But anyway, we're going to continue reading. Mandate for Leadership was published in January 1981, the same month Ronald Reagan was sworn into his presidency. By the end of that year, more than 60% of its recommendations had become policy. And Reagan was on his way to ending stagflation, reviving American confidence and prosperity, and winning the Cold War. The bad news today is that our political establishment and cultural elite have once again driven America towards decline. The good news is that we know the way out, even though the challenges today are not what they were in the late 1970s. Conservatives should be confident that we can rescue our kids, reclaim our culture, revive our economy, and defeat the anti-American left at home and abroad. We did it before, and we'll do it again. As Ronald Reagan put it, freedom is a fragile thing, and it's never more than one generation away from extinction. It is not ours by way of inheritance. It must be fought for and defended constantly by each generation. All right. We are going to continue. This is the duty. This is the duty history. This is the duty history has put before us and the standard by which our generation of conservatives will be judged. And we should not want it any other way. The legacy of mandate for leadership, and indeed of the entire Reagan revolution, is that if conservatives want to save the country, we need a bold and courageous plan. This book is the first step in that plan. All right, so this is talking about reform in the government, and I'm sure it's going to take us over reform in all aspects of government. This here, it says, is the conservative promise. The conservative promise. This volume, the conservative promise, is the opening salvo of 2025 presidential transition project, launched by the Heritage Foundation and our many partners in April of 2022. Its 30 chapters lay out hundreds of clear and concrete policy recommendations for White House offices, cabinet departments, Congress and agencies, commissions, and boards. Just as important as the scope of the conservative promises recommendations is the breadth of its authorship. This book is the product of more than 400 scholars. Great question. Whose freedom are they concerned with? And if I remember what I read, it seems like the freedom of America. You know, Empress, I bet it is. I bet it is. They're just not saying that quiet part out loud. All right. So let us continue with this forward here. This book is the product of more than 400 scholars and policy experts from across the conservative movement and around the country. Contributors include former elected officials, world-renowned economists, and veterans from 4 presidential administrations. This is an agenda prepared by and for conservatives who will be ready on day 1 of the next administration to save our country from the brink of disaster. Oh, I'm not sure why they think the country will experience disaster if this project is not implemented to save the country. I'm not sure, but I'm going to keep on reading. The Heritage Foundation is once again facilitating this work, but as our dozens of partners and hundreds of authors will attest, this book is the work of the entire conservative movement. As such, the authors express consensus recommendations already forged, especially along 4 broad fronts that will decide America's future. Number 1. This is rather interesting. I don't think it has said anything yet because I want to see when it says exactly what it plans to implement and how it plans to implement those new policies. This first one here says restore the family. All right, so this is one mandate here. One mandate here for Project 25 is to restore the family as the centerpiece of American life and protect our children. Once they lose this election, they will never win again. The numbers won't allow it. Okay, alrighty. Okay, says, now, do you feel that the American family is a broken institution? All right, that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about that. You all tell me, what do you all feel? No, you don't want to come up on the live and come talk to me. Do you feel that the institution of family is so broken that there needs to be a government policy to restore the family as the centerpiece of American life and protect our children? Talk to me. Does anybody here feel that the family is so broken that we need the government's intervention to get the family back on track? Talk to me, guys. How do you feel about it? Because as for me, Auntie Esther say, all right, Auntie Esther says no. No, people are grown and have a mind of their own. People are grown and have a mind of their own. You can't make a family whole with a presidential election. Perfectly said. Perfectly said. Because the prime minister, the president could stay there and talk to the blue in the face, so they could pass laws and laws and laws that says, this is what I expect from a family. This is what I expect to be considered a family. But you can't police everybody's household. You can't police everybody's bedroom to tell people what they should and shouldn't do. That depends on your definition of family, because definition of family, everybody could have their own definition of family too. The government has nothing to do with that. I agree. I agree with you 100%, Empress. I agree. And it's the same thing. It's the same thing Aunt Esther say over here. You understand? It's the same thing Aunt Esther say over here. The government could stay there and pass laws. People should be free to go behind the closed doors of their house and do whatever it is that they feel that they need to do. That is their business. That is their problem. Okay. What is the government going to do? It's going to plant a police in everybody's house to see if they are adhering to these laws. And if they are not, the police is going to take actions against them. It's I don't know. But mandate number 1 says they want to restore the family as the centerpiece of American life and protect our children. What has gone wrong with the family? Come on, don't talk to me. What has gone wrong with the family that there needs to be a government mandate to restore the family? Come on, talk to me. I don't have a lot of time. I have just a little bit of time here with y'all. So no, talk to me and tell me, what do you think? What are your observations on what is happening to the family? Do you think the family is under attack? Do you think there needs to be a government mandate to restore the family and to protect our children? This protect is broad. I would like to know, like, protect our children from what? You know, what exactly? I know our children need protection constantly, no doubt about that. But I just want to know from this article, from this book, what they intend to protect our children from. And the restoration of the family, how they plan to restore the family. What is it that is so wrong with the family? Because if you ask me, when I was growing up, we learned about the nuclear family, which was a mom and the dad and the kids, and we learned about the single parent family, the extended family where there was grandmas and aunts and everybody living together and all of that. But we have to understand that times and things have changed. And you can't say, because my family has a mom and a dad and the children, then your family is not a family. You can't do that. You can't do that. No, you can't do that. Regardless of the composition of your family, that is your family. No matter the makeup of your family, that is your family. So what is it the government is gonna do? It's gonna tell us that one particular family composition is more important, more valuable than others, and that's going to protect the children? Nothing is wrong with the family. Families and children grow up and go their own way. in life, that sounds more like form of control and surveillance. To me, that's how it sounds, Aunt Esther. That's how it sounds to me. It's as though you're going to come in with a definition of family, and you are going to um, prosecute the people whose family is not made up the way you claim to be the optimal way for a family to be made up. Somebody here says, oh, that's Sean. Sean says, the government tells us not to apply discipline. Maybe I said principle. Discipline to our children, and now they are out of hand. Say you're true. It's true. It's true. Um, and I understand your position, because as a Caribbean mother, we were raised with the belt, and we feel as though we need to belt our children for them to do the right thing, behave, and grow up to be contributing members of society. But we don't have to belt the children. I have 5 kids, and I don't know about belting them. I've had to pull up, especially my sons. I've had to pull them close to me, to make them understand who is boss. But I've never had to belt my children. There are topics that you cannot make broad and generalize and form stereotypes. Exactly, Barry. Shaw said we get belting and it didn't kill us. I agree that it did not, but at the same time, there are lots of children who are still scarred from beltings, and I am a supporter of discipline. You got to discipline these children. You got to discipline your children. You cannot spare the rod and spoil the child. The child must get disciplined. Children must be disciplined. You understand? You are not your child's friend. You are the parent. And you need to stand for something, and you need to ensure that that child understands and obeys the laws that you lay down. But some people cannot be bothered with parenting. And so either they just allow the child to do what they want, or they just get frustrated and take a belt and whop, 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 whop. That is not parenting. No. Aunt Esther says, read between the lines. That was directed to the African American parents, aka the Kia boys, etc. Empress said, as an educator, I discipline children daily without a belt. Exactly. You discipline children. I discipline my children, and I rarely ever had to, it was so rare that I can hardly just say I never had to discipline them like that. And you understand that some children, not all children are created. All children are not created equal, because there are some of these children who take after their parents. The pitney take after you. Same how you used to give your mother trouble, as same as the pitney give you trouble. You're getting payback for all the heartache you gave to your mama. Now the child is doing the same thing to you, and you can't tolerate it. You can't tolerate it. Empress says, I'm not letting no government tell me how to... Sean says, I'm not letting no government tell me how to raise my child. And that is the thing, I think that should be in the parents' hand, how to raise their children. But you see, government be overreaching too when they want to tell us how to raise our children. But on the other hand, these children are going to be the members of society who are going to have to face whatever laws it is that society puts out, because oftentimes when they put out these laws survive for generations, you know. When you see just a while ago, Roe v. Wade survived 50 years. 50 years before it was overturned. So each law has a lifespan. With relationship, love, and communication, you can bring change, of course, yes. But the thing is, some people don't want to have to talk to their children. They don't want to have to raise their children in such a way that it does not require them to get a belt each time they step out of line. And oftentimes when I see parents discipline their children, it is not abuse. But just for the fact that you laid hands on that kid, somebody could call it abuse, and the next thing you know, you end up behind bars. Do you think I would want to go behind bars because I discipline a child? That would make me so mad. I remember once upon a time, I had this kid who was she was really going out of line, not doing what her parents wanted her to do, and sneaking out of the house at nights, etc. And her dad disciplined her. I mean, she didn't have any bruise or anything, but he did slap her. And she called the police. Police came, arrested the dad. The dad says, "You will not come back in this house as long as you live." She was like 14. The dad says, "You will not come back in this house as long as you live, as long as I am paying the bills here, you will never come back." Now, do you think I believe police should have arrested that man for disciplining that child? Marky, the child have no cut, the child have no bruise, the child nothing, the child wasn't harmed in any way. No, I don't think the government should arrest that dad. So, Sean says some children you have to go to bell to apply discipline. That's just a grim reminder. Let me tell you, I am for discipline. I am not for abuse, but I am for discipline. Pitney need discipline, and some pitney they need harsher discipline. Because the thing is, what some of us fail to understand is that, you know, so when these same children who the government will put you in jail for disciplining, when they become 18, sometime before they become 18, and they go out and they break the law out there, you see society not give them any mercy. Society not giving them any mercy. But they will tell you as a parent you can discipline your children. I mean, I think so. I don't think that should be right. I think parents should be allowed to discipline their children. And as long as you know, crackhead open and the child is not abused, you should be allowed to discipline your children, because when they come up and they become the sores of society, you know what everybody gonna say? What kind of parents you did have? What kind of parents raised you? That's what they're gonna say. A lot of parents now are refusing to discipline their children because they don't want to have to face the law if they do. So Pitney get to do what they want to do. On the other hand, as Empress was saying, as an educator, you don't have to lick them to discipline them. That is also profoundly true. And every Pitney need a slap. And you don't have to incorporate hitting for your child to obey you. If child to obey you with everything, all the time, everything, that means you need some help with your parenting skills. Because there is too, and there is punishment. There are lots of ways that your kid can understand not to do stuff. Okay? Don't touch that lamp. Do not touch that lamp. Do not touch the lamp. All right. Okay, you learn your lesson, right? You hear that to touch it, and you touch it and it burn you. As long as it is not going to unalive you, you learn your lesson. Yeah, experience teaches wisdom. Eh, it can make them angry and hard. You must be very careful not to break their spirit. Exactly. You can discipline them without breaking their spirit. I love that, Empress. Um, um, Aunt Esther says, I agree with Empress. They seem not to like it when you make your own decisions about your family and kids. I find it disrespectful. That's true. I think that you must be able to make the decisions for your family, for your children. You think a police are walking at the door so and know how my family live, know how me feed my child, know what's going on. But if something happened, they wanna come and come do what they wanna do. I don't know that me want to say, but but me have to control my mouth. Me have to control my mouth. You understand? Sean say, what Sean say? Sean say, as a father's son, I use every other methods and it just doesn't work. Then that is where the belt come in. And you know, say oftentimes when the belt come in, that's when it work. Why them have this mentality? Why they gotta wait for the belt to come into play before they obey? You talk, and them don't obey. They don't obey. And as soon as you take up the belt, everybody are obey. Empress says, I must go. Blessing my sister. I sincerely appreciate you. Thank you so much for spending time with me. I mean, meaningful time with me. I sincerely appreciate it, my love. Thank you so much. We'll catch up with each other sometime around. Okay? Yeah, so the children sometimes they drive their parents bonkers because the children not obeying. But I think that should not be in the government's hands. That should be in the hands of the parents to grow their children how they see fit. I understand that if the parent is indoctrinating the child in such a way that is going to be harmful to society and the law gets wind of it, then they need to step in. But overall, I think that parents have the right to raise their children how they see fit. Yeah. Too much overreaching. So here they say this is one of the mandates. Is to restore the family as the centerpiece of American life and protect our children. I mean, I think there is no restoring of the family or no protecting of the children. I have a problem with that because that is so broad and subjective. My family, the components of my family and the components of yours is not the same. But that don't mean that mine is not a family. What makes you think that your composition of family is superior to my composition of family? So you're going to say that some people's family is considered superior than others, so the others that you consider to be inferior, they are broken and they need some kind of reform? I'm not there. I'm not there. Families, I don't think the families need reform, but I think what they are leaning towards is that they want to pass some kind of law that will cause it to be illegal, some kinds of family makeup to be illegal. Let me just leave it right there. I think that's where this is going. Cause some people's family composition to be illegal and others to be not so. That's where I see this going. But anywho, we are going to continue. We have what? We have a few more minutes. We have a few more minutes. All right. So the next one, part number 2, they say they want to dismantle the administrative state and return self-governance to the American people. Where are the people in the chat? They want to dismantle the administrative state and return self-governance to the American people. I don't know, self-governance in what fashion? And Sean say, but what family are they trying to restore? The black ones are the Art yo. We're going back to the family. Sean said what family they're trying to restore. This family or this family? That's a great question, but me not have the answer. I don't know, Sean. I don't know. But they want to restore the family because according to them, the family is broken. It needs restoration. And the children need protection. But I'm not sure. I can't answer you. I can't answer you because Auntie here don't know. Aunt Esther says self-governance. Yes, this second one here said they want to dismantle the administrative state and restore self-governance. Let me look down here. So they said, wait. I shouldn't have gone there yet. Eric, what's up? Eric said from matriarchal to patriarchal. So what do you mean? They can't force people to marry. They can't force a man to stay in another house if him don't want to. Yeah. Them can't force people to not have kids if they are not married or all of that. So what do you mean? All right. I'm going to read this part where it says promise number 1. I think I jumped ahead of myself when I started talking about the dismantle of administrative. The dismantle of administrative is gonna have to come another day. Yeah. But for right now, we're gonna go over this restoration of the family. Right here, promise number 1. This is the promise number 1 on this mandate for leadership. Promise number 1 says, restore the family as the centerpiece of American life and protect our children. The next conservative president must get to work pursuing the true priority of politics, the well-being of the American family. That is what they say is the true priority of American politics, the well-being of the American family. In many ways, the entire point of centralizing political power is to subvert the family. Its purpose is to replace people's natural loves and loyalties with unnatural ones. You see this in the popular left-wing aphorism. Government is simply the name we give to the things we choose to do together. But in real life, most of the things people do together have nothing to do with government. These are the mediating institutions that serve as the building blocks of any healthy society. Marriage, family, work, church, school, and volunteering. The name real people give to the things we do together is community, not government. Our lives are full of interwoven, overlapping communities, and our individual and collective happiness depends upon them. But the most important community in each of our lives and the life of the nation is the family. If you go back to colonial times, you will see a different family structure. Because, Sean says, because for what I know, the black family has been neglected and ignored for decades. That is true. That is true. That is true. The black family has suffered immensely. So I understand your question when you ask whether it is this family you want to restore or this family. I understand. Mitchie Boo from Mitchie Boo's Closet. How are you doing, my love? Good to see you. Let us continue this reading here and see what these people are saying here. Today, the American family is in crisis. 40% of all children are born to unmarried mothers, including, I want to know if you listen to what I read, you know, because I like when I read people listen, you know. All right, that's why I pause at my commas and stop at my full stops, okay? Today, the American family is in crisis. 40% of all children are born to unmarried mothers, including more than 70% of black children. More than 70% of black children are born to unmarried mothers. Hello, Octavina. How are you doing? Good afternoon. How are you? Let us continue. There is no government program that can replace the hole in a child's soul cut out by the absence of a father. So what government are going to do? Government is going to manufacture some fathers up in parliament and distribute them to houses? Is that what the government is going to do? How is the government going to ensure that a man stays in the house or stays with the woman that he impregnates, the woman who he impregnates? How does the government plan to do that? Do you all know? If you all know, you all share it with me. Because government not control the men to say, oh, when you impregnate a woman, you should stay there and raise your children. So I'm not sure how they plan, how they would plan to do this, how this would work. I'm not sure. But I'm going to continue reading because that's what we do. Fatherlessness is one of the principal sources of American poverty, crime, mental illness, teen suicide, substance abuse, rejection of the church, and high school dropouts. So many of the problems government programs are designed to solve, but can't, are ultimately problems created by the crisis of marriage and family. Who benefits from a marriage in terms of any external entity? Hey dog, what's up? I tell you. Octavia, what's up? You can't make a man do anything of exactly, Aunt Esther. You cannot make a man do anything. And stuff like that. Let me tell you. I think if there was more incentive for men, for families to stay together in terms of a father and a mother working together and raising their children, that would look ideal on paper. But the reality is that everybody's circumstance is not going to be the same. If you tell me that the government wants to fix the fatherlessness in homes. Then you gotta tell me what caused the fatherlessness in homes. Was government responsible for it? And now they're trying to fix it? What's going on here? It sounds creepy. Of course it does. It does. Because what measures are you going to implement to ensure that children have their father in the home? What are you going to implement? Because you can't force the fathers, not when the incarceration rate is as high as it is. And some of them for something that they could have gotten a slap on the wrist, or they could have gotten, say, pay a fee or something. Once King James authorized the Bible, he started witch trials. Where's the Eric? Where's the Eric? Once King James authorized the Bible, he started witch trials? What are those? What is that? I don't have a clue. I don't know what you're talking about, my love. He started witch trials? Talk to me, explain that for me, because I don't understand. But it seems to me like right here, there is some kind of plan to restore the family. But I don't know what that plan would look like. Not every woman who is raising their child or children by themselves chose that path, chose to raise their children by themselves. Circumstances happen, life happens. I was raised by a single mother. You know, see me, I got there earth and becoming a sore and a menace to society? No. Was it, now you're going to call me a statistic because I was raised in a household without a father? You can call me a statistic if you want. My father was killed when I was 8 years old. So there are people out there like me who have had this unfortunate circumstance happen to them. And they have ended up either raising their children or children growing up without a man in the household. If you are telling me that there needs to be a father figure in the house, then you are telling me that I as a woman is not capable of raising these children by myself for them to be decent members of society. And you're also telling me that if their father is not there, I must go and find a man. Because there's got to be a father in the home. No. Winsome say, oh, the dinner. Winsome, me not cooking. You never hear me say me not cooking. I'm serious as a judge. I'm not cooking. Not I. I know, but I come tell me say a Sunday, so I need for cook. I don't need to do anything on any day. Eric says, look up CLM witch trial, removal of Roe v. Wade. Where is it here? Because me have to make notes right here, so when you don't say anything, when you say anything important like that in the chat, I write it down. The CLM witch trials. Okay. All right, let us continue. So many of the problems government programs are designed to solve but can't are ultimately problems created by the crisis of marriage and the family. The world has never seen a thriving, healthy, free, and prosperous society where most children grow up without their married parents. If current trends continue, we are heading towards social implosion. And who says parents have to be married for children to be raised well? Who says parents will have to be married for children to be raised well? And the way our society is today, and what happens, and what and what happens during divorces, and how society itself preys on people who are divorcing. You think anybody wants to be married and then to want to face that problem? No, nobody wants to face that problem. Anybody here has ever had to divorce? I've been divorced twice. My first divorce, my husband was a gem. My ex-husband is still a gem. Okay. We were reasonable with each other, understanding. We came to an agreement. This is what it's going to be. And we parted ways peacefully. The second one, of the grace of God, made me alive today. You understand me? It cost me $30,000 for divorce. You think in this day, could I be in my right mind, even if I was still of childbearing age? Do you think I would ever go put myself back in that situation? For me and somebody get married and then we have to go divorce? Society does not make it easy for you. Because you see, when you get married, that is, you are like a corporation for society. When you're getting divorced, they penalize you dearly. How dare you? How dare you break up this institution from which they benefit so significantly? No, sir. Not I. You see what I mean? So right now, the way how things are in society, it better you just stay single. It better you just stay single, because if you go get a divorce and you cannot afford all that's being charged for that divorce, mark my word, you end up just surrendering. You end up just giving up your right because you cannot afford to fight. You don't have enough resources to fight. And when you look at it and you say, after this divorce is over, I'm by myself, I no longer have a second income to supplement mine, to pay the bills, to help me to go on a vacation or to live the life that I dream of. So in every single way you take it, when you married, remember that society has a plan for you. When you're single, they will downgrade you, they will talk down to you, they will make you feel badly about being single. But if I were you, a word to the wise should be sufficient. So when you hear people, don't make nobody gaslight you and tell you, you are contributing negatively to society because you're not married and because you're raising your children as a single parent. Yeah, them like to gaslight you. Let us continue. This is not the days of Moses, when Moses made sure that every woman, the men were allowed to take as many wives as they could. David had how many wives and concubines? And everybody else in the Bible had many wives and concubines. And very few people I have read in the Bible who had only one wife. And maybe it's just because the Bible only talk about that one wife. They probably had more, but they don't talk about it. We're not living in those times. No, we're not. We are not. Let us continue with this reading here. Furthermore, the next conservative president must understand that using government alone to respond to symptoms of the family crisis is a dead end. Federal power must instead be wielded to reverse the crisis and rescue America's kids from familial breakdown. The conservative promise includes dozens of specific policies to accomplish this existential task. Some are obvious and long-standing goals. Some are obvious and long-standing goals, like eliminating marriage penalties in eliminating marriage penalties in federal welfare programs and the tax code, and installing work requirements for food stamps. But we must go further. It's time for policymakers to elevate family authority, formation, and cohesion as their top priority, and even use government power, including through the tax code, to restore the American family. All right, wanna hear that? It's time for policymakers to elevate family authority, formation, and cohesion as their top priority, and even use government power, including through the tax code, to restore the American family. I don't know what they're talking about, this restoring of the family, because my family, regardless of whether or not it is a one-parent family or a two-parent family, it is still my family. So what they're essentially saying is that if your family, Eric say a civil war under martial law, it looks so, Eric, it looks so to me. So if my family, if the definition of my family don't suit you, then you are going to do something about it. We know that lots of single parents, they rely on food stamps to supplement their income so they can feed their children. Okay? Lots of people don't even work when they are on government assistance, because if you go to work and you make less than you get with food stamps, and they don't give you the food stamps to supplement that income, people look at it like, why do I bother to go to work? So the system needs to be fixed, not the people. Because there are lots of people who even though they're having, oh my God, even though they're having financial problems, they could do with a little bit of help. But they don't want to sit down and just depend on food stamps or any kind of social handouts. They don't want to do that. But society has made it as such that if these people go to work, they no longer qualify. And the money they get from work is less than the money they would get if they were on food stamps. So make it make sense. The math is not mathing. Why don't you say to the people, okay, you gotta go to work. You go to work, and this is going to be a little supplement for you. Okay? Yeah, you can go to work, and your salary is used to pay our bills, but here we will supplement, say, your utilities and a little bit of food stamp. But there also has to be a way to help this family elevate from their current circumstance. Come here and see, oh, you're still under the same circumstance from your born until you're dead. No changes. Don't you find that bothersome? I find it bothersome. Is it just me? Because you cannot tell me that you're born, come see your mother get food stamps. Your mother get food stamps, raise you for 18 years. And then you go on food stamps. Your mother continue living on food stamps since she's 70, 80 years old till she pass away. You continue living on food stamps until you pass away. Your children grow up, you can. Nobody stepped out. I think there needs to be social programs that focus on elevating people out of their circumstance. And me alone feel that way. Because some people have the will, but they don't have the way. Some people have the desire to do it. But then, where is the help? Me know not gonna say some people not looking for the help. If they look for help, then we find it. And that also can be true. But it's not one size fits all. It's not, we can't just blanket everybody with that. But I just think that when it comes on to government assistance, we need to help people with a purpose. Right now, I'm not see them help people with no purpose. You give them food stamp. Once somebody have 5 kids, and you give them $2,000 a month in a food stamps, and them sell 1,500 of it, and them use the other 500 of it, and 10 years from now, they are not piece better than they were today. Not piece better. Because number one, them cannot buy anything that is of value, of significant value. Because the first thing government going to say, you're not working, where you get money from by that? A government money you get, it's like bona fide. Let me tell you something. Talk about ancestral curse. Talk about ancestral curse. I'm telling you, sis. I tell you. It's like that's what it is. Because the whole generation after generation, and nobody seek to change the circumstance. The matriarchal family will lose the competition for resources and become dependent. I think they want people to be dependent. I think it is a way of gaslighting people. Yeah. To say, oh, you see, you need us. You need me. I am the government. You need me. If I don't give you this food stamp, you won't eat. But I won't teach you how to fish. Why? Why is it not mandated? If anything that needs to be mandated, I think it needs to be mandated that a single mother or a family, I'm just going to leave it at family, that is on food stamps is also getting assistance with some form of upward mobility, something. You can't just make people sit down and just feed them. So, and at the same time, when your children become 18, they tell you have to send out your children on their own. But at the same time, the government just feed people, grown people just give you so. No, sir. I think there's something significantly wrong with that. I think so. But I don't know what this mandate wants to do. Does the government shouldn't be blamed? No, the government should not be blamed. I'm not blaming the government. I'm just saying that the people who get the help, there isn't much resources or encouragement for them to get off of the system. The system not provide for that bona fide. Because if you're gonna go work, go say, all right, you get a little job to supplement the government assistance that you're getting. As soon as them learn that you get the job, you have to pay them back their money, and you have to stop working. Because when you are not working, they will give you more. Oh, you forgive people more when them not work. Not a bunch of lazy people you make. You are causing that's a sore of society that you are not trying to heal. The people need the help, yes. But you cannot help them like that. I don't believe in that. I do not believe in that. That to me is not helping. And then when the people them get the food stamp, you know, ever see when you go a food stamp, go a supermarket at the first of the month, you can't know the people them with the food stamps. You understand? You can't know what soda and something, and then you know that leads to another problem, because now they say all these poor kids have lots of health issues, and now they become another national problem. Government gets voted in by the people, we the people. Yes, sir. The government gets voted in by the people, we the people. You come again today, you come again today. You come again today. Online deals. You come again today. Mighty God. Good afternoon. Welcome. Welcome. All right. We are going to continue. We are going to continue reading this what they say. Today, the left is threatening the tax-exempt status of churches and charities that reject woke progressivism, not progression, but progressivism. They will soon turn to Christian schools and clubs with the same totalitarian intent. The next conservative president must make the institutions of America, civil society, hard targets for woke culture warriors. This starts with deleting the terms sexual orientation and gender identity, diversity, equity, and inclusion. Huh? Hold on, let's read that again. Let's read that again. Nolan, what's up? Let's read that again. Wait, let's read that again. Today, the left is threatening the tax-exempt status of churches and charities that reject woke progressivism. They will soon turn to Christian schools and clubs with the same totalitarian intent. The next conservative president must make the institutions of American civil society hard targets for woke culture warriors. This starts with deleting the terms sexual orientation and gender identity, diversity, equity and inclusion, the DEI, gender equality, gender equity, gender awareness, gender sensitivity, gender sensitive, abortion, reproductive health, reproductive rights, and any other term used to deprive Americans of their First Amendment rights out of every federal rule, agency regulation, contract, grant, regulation, and piece of legislation that exists. Want to hear that? You all hear that? So this is part of the mandate. This mandate wants to eliminate. They want to start with deleting the terms sexual orientation, gender identity, diversity, equity, and inclusion, gender equality, anything that has to do with gender, reproductive rights, abortion, and reproductive health. What does that say? Where are the people in the chat? What does that really mean? What a world, what an America without reproductive health would look like. this is rather interesting. So therefore, this is going to mean that discrimination is going to be heightened, taken to another level. Am I the only one understanding it this way, or do you all have some other views about what does this look like? To me, it looks like discrimination at the highest order. What do you all think? Because if you're going to have to delete these terms, it tells me that the persons to whom these terms apply, these gender terms apply, and the people who depend on reproductive health and want to maintain their reproductive rights, these people are going to be discriminated against. I don't get it. When some say, where you get where you read from, Trev? All for the people them websites. You know, hear the people them talking about this voting and talking about the Project 25, that is the agenda of the next Republican president. So they say. Yeah. So that's where I got it from. This mandate for leadership 2025. That's where I get it from. So I'm reading it straight from their website on my phone here. Let us continue. Let us continue, guys. And this is the mandate number 1 that is supposed to restore the family. Pornography manifested today in the omnipresent propagation of transgender ideology and sexualization of children, for instance, is not a political Gordian knot inextricably binding up disparate claims about free speech, property rights, sexual liberation, and child welfare. It has no claim to First Amendment protection. So those people who are struggling with their sexual identity, this mandate says there is no claim. You have no claim to First Amendment protection. I want to know, listen, remember, say my words, you know. So, Winsome, this is not tablet, this is my phone. My phone opens up. Yes, so let us continue, lovely people. Oh my word. Let us continue. When we did reach, I'll miss when we did reach. Its purveyors are child predators and misogynistic exploiters of women. Their product is as addictive as any illicit drug and as psychologically destructive as any crime. Pornography should be outlawed. The people who produce and distribute it should be imprisoned. Educators and public librarians who purvey it should be classed as registered sex offenders. And telecommunications and technology firms that facilitate its spread should be shuttered. In our schools, the question of parental authority over their children's education is a simple one. Schools serve parents, not the other way around. That is, of course, the best argument for universal school choice, a goal all conservatives and conservative presidents must pursue. But even before we achieve that long-term goal, parents' rights as their children's primary educators should be non-negotiable in American schools. States, cities, and counties, school boards, union bosses, principals, and teachers who disagree should be immediately cut off from federal funds. When you hear about this draconian thing here, you can't disagree in anything them implement. You better take it. The noxious tenets of critical race theory. The noxious tenets of critical race theory. I want y'all to listen now. The noxious tenets. The noxious tenets of critical race theory and gender ideology should be excised from curricula should be excised. That means cut out. Should be excised from curricula in every public school in the country. These theories poison our children. Critical race theory poisons our children, who are being taught on the one hand to affirm that the color of their skin fundamentally determines their identity and even their moral status, while on the other hand they are taught to deny the very creatureliness, why do I use that word, creatureliness, that inheres in being human and consists in accepting the givenness of our nature as men or women. Want to hear that? So critical race theory and gender ideology, these are poisons to society. Let us continue. Allowing parents or physicians to reassign the gender of a minor is child abuse, and it must end. Parents or physicians, gender of a minor child is abuse, and it must end. For public institutions to use taxpayer dollars to declare the superiority or inferiority of certain races, certain races, sexes, and religions is a violation of the Constitution and civil rights law and cannot be tolerated by any government anywhere in this country. The use of taxpayer dollars to declare the superiority or inferiority of certain races, sexes, and religions is a violation of the Constitution and civil rights law and cannot be tolerated by any government anywhere in the country. But the pro-family promises expressed in this book and central to the next conservative president's agenda must go much further than the traditional narrow definition of family issues. Every threat to family stability must be confronted. This resolve should color each of our policies. Consider our approach to big tech. The worst of these companies prey on children, like drug dealers, to get them addicted to their mobile apps. Many Silicon Valley executives famously don't let their own kids have smartphones. They nevertheless make billions and billions of dollars addicting other people's children to their smartphones. TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and other social media platforms are specifically designed to create the digital dependency that fuels mental illness and anxiety, to fray children's bonds with their parents and siblings. Federal policy cannot allow this industrial scale child abuse to continue. All right? So now going to lose on Instagram. TikTok won't get shut down. Instagram, Facebook, what the others want to use, all of them are going to get taken down. Why? Because they are specifically designed to create the digital dependencies that fuel mental illness and anxiety, to fray children's bonds with their parents and siblings. Federal policy cannot allow this industrial scale child abuse to continue. I'm reading, guys, for those of you just coming, I am reading Project 2025 and its mandates that will serve as the ground rule for the next conservative president. So now here, be prepared. You can't say you never hear it, so act accordingly. Finally, conservatives should gratefully celebrate the greatest pro-family win in a generation, overturning Roe v. Wade, a decision that for 5 decades made a mockery of our Constitution and facilitated the deaths of tens of millions of unborn children. But the Dobbs decision is just the beginning. Conservatives in the states and in Washington, including in the next conservative administration, should push as hard as possible to protect the unborn in every jurisdiction in America. Do you want the right to make the decision for your body and your own reproductive health? Listen to what this mandate has to say. Let's continue. Conservatives in the states and in Washington, including in the next conservative administration, should push as hard as possible to protect the unborn in every jurisdiction in America. In particular, the next conservative president should work with Congress to enact the most robust protections for the unborn that Congress will support, while deploying existing federal powers to protect innocent life and vigorously complying with statutory bans on the federal funding of abortion. So, he that hath wisdom shall count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man. To the wise, come and listen. Do you want freedom? Or you're going to be just like the Jews, where you come, hey Paula, what's up? How you doing? Where Jesus come give them liberty, but them not even know if you accept it. Them not want it. They still want to adhere to them animal sacrifice and the circumcision and all those things. Because when people, sometimes we see freedom and it's within our grasp, and we don't choose it. We go choose otherwise. Well, listen to what this mandate is. And this mandate is supposed to be the ground rule for the next administration, the next conservative administration. All right? Let us continue to read. Apostle James, what's up? Let us continue to read. This is interesting. We are close to the end, but we're going to continue. Let me see where I'm at. In particular, the next conservative president should work with Congress to enact the most robust protections for the unborn that Congress will support while deploying existing federal powers to protect innocent life and vigorously complying with statutory bans on the federal funding of abortion. Conservatives should ardently pursue these pro-life and pro-family policies while recognizing the many women who find themselves in immensely difficult and often tragic situations and the heroism of every choice to become a mother. Alternative options to abortion, specifically abortion, should receive federal and state support. There I watch you and do the thing. Yes, my love. I am here. All I can do is read it because I want to know what is in it, what is making people so afraid. And you know me, since I'm going to read it for myself, I may as well read it out loud so that everybody can hear it. Okay? Let us continue. Conservatives should ardently pursue these pro-life and pro-family policies while recognizing the many women who find themselves in immensely difficult and often tragic situations and the heroism of every choice to become a mother. Alternative options to abortion, especially adoption, should receive federal and state support. So if you're pregnant, if it's your father getting pregnant, whatever the case may be, you have that child and there'll be lots of funding for adoption. In summary, the next president has a moral responsibility to lead the nation in restoring a culture of life in America again. Number 1 of Project 2025. Anything I said, anything I read here that you all agree with or don't agree with? Anything I read here that you all agree with or not agree with, my dears? Talk to me. Paula says, I must have the child, and if I can't afford it, take care of it. Yes, you put it up for adoption. There will be lots of funding for adoption. So your child, as long as you don't have an abortion, you're good. Imagine that. People like to come in with, the Bible and saying that the Bible says thou shalt not kill and stuff. But listen, even with the Bible saying thou shalt not kill, a woman's body is hers. And she should have a right to decide whether or not she wants to carry a child to term or not. That is her business. Not mine, not yours. It is her business. Are you gonna get the stretch marks? Talk to me. Are you gonna stretch from here so to here so? No. Government can't come tell a woman that she can't have an abortion under any circumstance. No. Leave it to the woman to make that decision. But don't put a stumbling block in her way to say that she cannot get an abortion because the law says no, that's not good. That's not good. And because you believe that your Christian values supersedes everybody else's values, then you think that you can just impose your values on everybody. That is crazy. That is crazy. We are never going to have a society where everybody believes the same thing. We are not going to have a society where everybody believes the same thing and act accordingly. No, we're not. We are not. The sad part is the ones who came up with it aren't. Somebody says there's consequences for every action. Of course, there are consequences for every action. But who are you to determine what's going to happen to me if I decide I don't want to carry this child in my belly? That's got nothing to do with you. Absolutely nothing to do with you. You can't sit there and determine my life. No. It's not affecting you. If somebody goes out there and they are knocking people down and they are breaking into people's houses and stealing and unaliving people, and that affects you. Yeah, that affects you. But if I, in this body here, determines that I don't want to carry this child that is growing in my belly, who you tell me say I have to carry it? I don't have to, because as much as you're going to say, oh, you can give up this child for adoption, there's going to be lots of resources for you to give up this child for adoption. What about the psychological toll it's going to take on me to carry this child to term? And and did you know that when you are pregnant, are the hormones that your hormones are not as they are when you are not pregnant? And when you are stressed out, you can have a child who is born with developmental challenges. You can imagine a mother who wants to have an abortion and society say, no, you can't have that abortion. I saw a case, was it in Alabama, where the little girl, how old was she? 10? 10 or 11? That man graped, and then the poor mother tried to get the little girl an abortion, and she couldn't. And that little girl, 10 or 11, wasn't even a teenager yet, after suffering such trauma, had to go back and go through the trauma of giving birth. All because they did not want the child to get an abortion. That is wickedness. Wickedness is the grace of God where that child lived through childbirth. You know how childbirth is. You understand? Just says, of course. But who gives anyone the right to tell a woman what to do with her body? Exactly. Who does? Can't tell a woman what to do with her body. A fair body. And if okay. right, let us continue. Let us continue. Yeah. So as I was saying, lovely people, as I was saying, I don't think the government should be telling a woman what she should do with her body. That's just how I feel. And as a woman, Apostle James said, what the hell did I think I saw in the village? In which village, Apostle? Talk to me. Where I talk about? What are you talking about? What did you think you saw in the village? Me not get it. Me kind of lost right there, so. I'm a little bit lost. Tell me what you're talking about. Yeah. So with this mandate here, if one side gets in, these mandates for sure are going to be implemented. Are you willing to face the consequences of these mandates that I just read? Are you willing? Imagine having your child who is having issues with their identity. Imagine that. And there's nothing you can do for this child, because according to the law, you are not doctors are not permitted to tend to the child. There's nothing you can do. Imagine your Facebook, your Instagram, your Twitter, whatever account, your TikTok, and all these things going away. Would you be willing? Would you be able to survive without those apps? It's a real question. Is that a joke question? It's a real question. Would you be willing? Would you be able? How would you be able to function? Okay? If Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and all those other social media apps are taken away because your government believes that those apps are poisoning you. It's giving you anxiety. It's causing you not to have bonding experiences with your parents and your siblings. So they are banning it. So you can't have it on your phone. How would you feel? How would you be able to function with that? There is a red country in Florida that is ruby red, holding a rally for... Let me tell you, we better hold them rallies now. We better hold them rallies now. We better check our voting status, because if we don't put a stop to this, what I just read, even coming out, we're gonna be in some big trouble. We're gonna be in some big trouble. Trust me. Imagine you have a child. Imagine you have a child, and this child is suffering. Maybe because the child was born with some type of anomaly. It could be that the child was born with an undeveloped penis. The child seems to be more feminine. But because of the government say, well, when he was born, the little thing he had looked like a penis. It looked like it can work as a penis. So it is a penis. When that child turns to puberty, the voice doesn't deepen. The child doesn't get facial hair. The child, is growing boobs. The child has all the hallmarks of a female. But the child has this little thing. There's the little appendage there that appears to be a penis. And this child can get no doctor to help them with a modification because the government says no. Imagine how miserable that poor child going to be. That is what is going to cause anxiety more than TikTok, more than Facebook, more than Instagram. That is going to cause anxiety for that child and increase that child's risk of self-harm. Because imagine you are a woman, you have everything else for a woman, but down there you got what seems like a man's appendage, and you can't get it modified. Come on now. Come on now. Yeah. It's going to be, in Jamaica we say it's going to be hell and powder house. Anyhow, when you do not vote how you're supposed to vote. Remember, I am not here trying to influence anybody one way or the other. I am only here since Project 25 is one of the things that everybody is using. Put a pin in my foot. Everybody is using as their talking point for this election. I said, let me go and read it. Oh, what a pain in my foot. Let me go and read it for myself. And while I do so, let me read it out loud so that the rest of you can hear it. Got all the immigrants that came to the States and have kids. That child is not a citizen by their rules. Exactly. So if you came here, if you're an immigrant, you came here and you have a child here, that child is not a U.S. citizen. What in the world? Your child is not a U.S. citizen because the parent is an immigrant? What kind of a nonsense is that? And I guess that would only go for a certain demographic. It would not go for everybody. Trust and believe me. That would not go for everybody. It would only go for some people. Me and you, yeah. Others, no. It wouldn't go for them. Ain't that something? But I tell you what, my friends. I tell you. These things, I've only read the first mandate, and it is already scary. It is already scary. That's the first part of the first mandate about the family. Okay? When we come back again tomorrow night, yeah. When we come back tomorrow night, we are going to continue reading, because every day we're going to try to do this. Every day leading up to the elections, we are going to be reading from this mandate until we are finished reading it. All right? So tomorrow night, we will be here again reading another section of it. Guys, I didn't just download this on my phone just for style, I download it on my phone so we can read it. So we can read it together. And I am expecting y'all to participate in the conversation. Okay? All right. So that is going to be it from me for right now. Until next time, guys, I will see you all again. I will see you all again sometime after now. I want to say thanks to everybody who came into the live, those who contributed by tapping the screen and hitting the like button and commenting in the chat and roses gifting and all. I sincerely appreciate it. And even if you came in but you didn't say a word, just the fact that you came in, I sincerely appreciate you. All right, so that's going to be it from me for now, my friends. Until next time, this is Trev from Trevessence, where your journey matters. Have yourselves a wonderful evening, everybody, and I'll see you all again later. Paula, see you later, love bug. Winsome, see you later, sugar. Danielle and Paul and Apostle and everybody else. I will see you all later, guys. Have yourselves a good night.